everybody. Just came in today for optional maintenance, off-ice workout. It was a little change in the plan, I think, just because it was a pretty taxing game for a lot of guys last night. So just reevaluating the minutes that got played and where guys are at, physically. We cut it back just a little bit today. So still in here working and a good day, but it's just a little bit of a different day.
Is this something that you've done regularly over the course of your career, or if you have a game where guys play a lot of minutes, you would give them like an optional the next day?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think you just got to read the situation and evaluate it. We had forwards playing. I had a forward play close to 29 minutes last night, and I'm not sure of the good that would come out of coming out here today and putting them through the ringer for 45 minutes. So just evaluating everything with regard to that. And like I said, I thought the guys invested an awful lot in the third period and the overtime and the shootout just to get to a point where, we could get a point and then possibly a second point. And so just managing where the group is at.
How do you make the most of this league that you have here?
Well, again, you can go in with a plan, and then the plan can change. And so part of it was rest, recovery, and then there'll be a couple of good practices as well. And so we'll try to take the practices and maybe hit on some things that, I'm always concerned when we get into overtime and we haven't posted sheets or we haven't worked on it and we haven't touched it for a little bit, and you're 7 days away, and you just want to make sure that we're reminders about what it is that we need to do inside a 3-on-3 or 4-on-4 or extra attackers and that sort of thing. And so when you get with some time in practice, it's a good opportunity to go back and hit some things. Maybe there's some areas of the game, it could be coming out of your zone. It could be offensive zone play, just to try and maybe just work on that a little bit. And you get a spot in the schedule where you have that luxury. And so it's best to try and take advantage of that.
Since there only is one opponent this coming week, do you have more of an emphasis on that opponent in the practices, or is it still just more your system specifically?
It'll be the same. I mean, we'll be ready, but we'd be ready if we were playing them, on Wednesday too. And so I think once the season gets going, I think, from a staff standpoint, a player standpoint, a meeting standpoint, I think that there becomes a routine on how we go about our business. And so we'll do that. The one thing that changes for me is the time to maybe work on some stuff that, you don't get to touch or you don't get to work on all the time. No, it's just maintenance today for him. And we'll evaluate and see where he's at on Wednesday.
On the new Phil?
No, he's still, he's not out on the ice yet, and so that's the next progression, still day to day.
It seems like the league is starting to notice what Erik Gustafsson is capable of. He's got a 40-point streak going in the absence of that Fox. Can you just talk about how he's set his game up here with you?
Yeah, I think he's played well since he's been here. I thought his training camp was really good. I thought the start of the season was really strong for him. It seems, no matter who he plays with, they can drive the play in the right direction. And I think he's done a really good job. Of course, I have history and knowledge. It doesn't surprise me that he's able to step in and play that way. He did it for me last year on a different team, and he's doing the same exact thing right now. But he's playing really well.
Did your history with him make him someone that you and Chris Pitt maybe high on your list of guys going into free agency to reach out to?
He was somebody that we talked about. I think anytime you have some former knowledge on a player, I think that that can be useful.
With Lindgren and the concern about the elbow hitting the head, how concerning is that for you? And then also maybe from a league perspective, is that something that they need to look at?
I think that the league looks at everything, and then they make decisions from there. And whether you agree with decisions or you don't agree with the decisions, that's their job. I think they do a really good job of trying to cover everything and make sure that they check all their boxes for the safety of the players. And I always think that there's calls that are controversial last night as to what one person saw and what another person sees. I think that's always the way, but for the most part, I think that they do a good job. With regard to Lindy, like I said, we're hopeful that Wednesday's a good day and we see him at practice.
Do you have much of an understanding of exactly why they didn't allow the goal on the Cooley shot?
Yeah, I mean, I understood what they said, but again, there's always an interpretation of what you agree with and what you don't agree with. So, but that's water under the bridge at this point, and our guys fought hard to get the win and moving on.
I feel like with Igor, it's 4 more days to
Yeah.
develop. It's just kind of thing that seemed day to day, and now he ends up getting a longer stretch of time. You don't lose much on the ice. Is that going to be a good thing for you in the long run? Do you feel?
To having success on the ice.
Have success and also.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I would have rather had him available to our team and found games for Jonathan. Jonathan's playing really well right now, but I would have rather not have players injured and say, well, they'll be more rested down the stretch. And so, we're through it, and we got through it, and we were somewhat successful with regard to our team. But I would rather have healthy players and have them available. And so, today's another good day's work for him. And again, same thing on Wednesday.
Do you have a sense that he might be ready for this weekend?
I'll probably go slow with commenting on that. He's having a good day today. He's out there for practice, and he's going without any restrictions from us. And so that's a positive sign.
In previous years, Alexi and Capo, their success has been somewhat paired together. Alexi obviously as of late has risen that level a bit. What can you do to get Capo's confidence or keep that confidence up during the next 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, there's I still. You're right about Alexi seems to be finding it a little bit, and I think Capo's playing hard. I think he's trying out there, and sometimes it doesn't go your way. And there's probably a couple guys on our team like that would like that reinforcement of having an impact in the game with offense or some way to tilt the game and feel that confidence. And we'll keep working on all the players in our team to try and get everybody firing on cylinders. And he is working hard. He's a great kid. He cares, and I think find that game, find that shift, find that game that unlocks him and gets him going. That would be a real positive.
Maybe once he sees one go in, it's just gonna.
Possibly. That's the way it works sometimes. There's peaks and valleys for everybody. Inside of a season, there's peaks and valleys for your power play. There's peaks and valleys for your team, and you hope that there's more peaks. And that's how you can find success than there are valleys. But the same thing holds true for players. It changes from year to year. You never know when. Not talking about Capo, but you never know when a career year is going to be, and you never know when your low year is going to be. That's just the wave of teams and players. And like I said, you hope for more of the good stuff and less of the valleys. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been good from a team standpoint. There seems to be a good balance in the lines, and even Capo playing with Bonino and Cooley, like that line's been effective. And when you're talking about effective and you're talking about team success, that means winning and having positive shifts and doing the right things. And from what I'm saying is, I think you want to see that players can grab confidence, I think, more when they actually see that impact from themselves inside the game. But the lines for me have had a balance and a flow to it where we've been able to roll lines and get them out there and see some production, even if it's actually not the puck going back in the back of the net. There's production. There's good things that happen. There was a goal that was called back last night. And so that was that line that you're talking about just recently, just earlier in the conversation here. And, so there's positives that are coming from it.
Early on, before we even started, you talked a lot about details and sort of intangible type things. We talked about face-offs, we talked about PK, we talked about block shots. What are you seeing from this team in those areas, those intangible areas that you're liking and you feel like are helping in the winning efforts recently?
Well, I think that there's a lot of things that you just mentioned that have a hand in winning hockey games. And so, just to echo what you just said, if you can If you can hold your own in the face-off circle, that's possession of the puck, and the name of the game is possession. And so if you can win those, the majority of those if you can stay over 50%, if you can have the puck and have possession, that's a good thing. From there, you can execute breakouts, you can execute offensive zone scoring chances, and so good things happen from that. A willingness to block shots is, that's the puck not getting to your net. And so the guys have been willing to do that. I do think that there's a lot of little things that if you can check enough of those boxes, they can definitely help dictate wins and losses.
Okay, last one.
Yeah. What were your impressions from afar, Alexis and Kaplan, and how have they changed since you've been here?
For me, they were both, from afar, they were both young players that were each year getting better. And I don't think that that's changed. They're still young players. They're not rookies anymore. It's not their first year in the league, but you know, when you're 20 or 21, or you know, you get to be 22 and 23, you're now been in the league for a while, and I think you see an increase in confidence. You see an increase in knowledge of the game, knowledge of the league, the players that you're playing against. There's an experience that goes with it. There's a physical maturity that goes with it, mental as well. You understand how the league works, how the game is played, and so I think that there's growth that comes from players like that. And so I see that from afar, and now that I'm working with them, I still think that you see it. You certainly see it with Alexi right now and his growth and what he's been able to do. And like I said, I think Capo will get there as well. He's a good young player. He's working hard. He cares. He wants to make a difference. I think that difference will come.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank